Today's lesson covers one of my personal favorite techniques of playing guitar, and the cool thing about this technique is it really spreads across any genre of guitar playing, and that's natural harmonics. So I'm going to start out with just a very basic demonstration of natural harmonics, and then we're going to get into 3 ways on how you can integrate natural harmonics into your playing, because I don't want you just to learn the technique. The technique doesn't do you any good if you can't actually use it in a song. So we're going to cover 3 ways on how you can do that. And also make sure you hang around to the end of the video. I've got a really cool backing track that you can play along with. All right, so just a basic overview, really quick basic overview of natural harmonics. Now, if you want to skip this part, feel free to go to the next section. There are timestamps in the YouTube description of this video where you can skip around. But if you're kind of new to this, you'll want to watch this part. So basically, a natural harmonic is really when you're just hovering your finger just barely on that string, kind of over that string. It's just barely touching the top of it. And I'm going to kind of get up close and personal here. So I'm going to use my 3rd finger and let's just say the 5th fret. See where the 5th fret is right there? I'm just going to hover my finger. I want to do it at this angle so you can see it. I'm not pressing on that fret. I'm just kind of barely hovering my finger over that to where it's barely touching the string. And you want to be right over the fret with most guitars. That's where you're going to get the best harmonic. Now, the second tip to this is there are certain places, certain frets rather, where those harmonics are going to ring out better than others. In fact, there's some strings, some frets on here, you're going to have a really hard time getting harmonics out of it. So the basics here, okay? I'll give you 3 spots to play these. The most dominant harmonics you're going to get is probably on your 12th fret. So you would hover your finger over any string on the 12th fret to get this sound. Almost sounds like either Christmas time or somebody's ringing my doorbell. All right, so there's 2 more places I want to show you. And again, there's more frets where you can do this at. I'm giving you the basics though, the frets where they're going to ring out the best, okay? So your other frets are going to be 5 and 7. So let's go to the 7th fret here. Cool. Okay, and lastly, the 5th fret. So those are the basics. Now, using the technique that I shared with you just now, just hovering that finger, just barely touching that string, you can use that on other frets just to see what sounds you can get. And sometimes when you're playing with distortion, you'll be able to hear the harmonics that you may not necessarily hear playing a clean tone like this. All right, so now I want to show you 3 really cool ways on how you can integrate natural harmonics into your playing. In this first method, we're going to integrate natural harmonics into our rhythm. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick like a very basic 3-chord progression here. And hey, we may write a hit song in this little session here because most hit songs are like 3 and 4 chords. Anyway, let me demonstrate. Pretty cool. So just played a basic G, D, C. After that, we hit some harmonics. Now I'm going to share exactly what I did. And some of you who have been playing natural harmonics for a while, you're going to know that basic pattern, those two patterns that I played, because those are very common. But hey, they fit and they sound cool. So what I'm doing here, I'm playing the harmonics on the 12th fret and I'm going E, B, G. Then I'm going to the 7th fret of the G string. Okay? The second time around, I hit some different harmonics. I started on the 7th fret, E, B, and G string, and then I went to the 5th fret of the G string, like this. And I gave it just a little whammy action down there too. If you've got a whammy bar, sometimes it's cool to hit a harmonic. Kind of helps it linger on a little bit there. Now, I will say a quick tip here. I do have my delay and a little bit of chorus. That's just a very quick tip I'm sneaking in here real quick because that also helps give you a little bit more sustain in your harmonics and just kind of makes them sound a little cooler in my opinion. But you don't have to have effects. I just wanted to throw that tip out there real quick. Now, what I did here was my progression, it was G, D, C, but I'm kind of hanging on that C. In other words, if you had like a rhythm guitar or a bass guitar, other instruments playing along, they would still carry out that C in this example here. But me as the lead guitar player, or maybe just the rhythm guitar player or only guitar player, I'm going to kind of cut my C short to play the rest of what would be that C with the harmonics there. Now, one very important note when it comes to harmonics and the keys that you're playing in, they're not always gonna match, right? Meaning you can't just assume that all these harmonics on the 12th, 5th, and 7th frets, you can't assume that they're gonna match every progression. They are not. And I'm gonna give you an example, but here's the thing. For the key that we're playing in, we're playing just a basic GDC, or if you're playing in like the key of E minor or even A minor, for the most part, you can make those frets and those harmonics work with that. But I want to share a completely different key. Let's play in C sharp minor, and I'm going to play harmonics on the G string so you can hear how this sounds. No, see, that didn't work at all. Now, what I will tell you, though, is that specific key, and even in the key of E, what will work are the notes, the harmonics on just the last two strings, the B and the E string. So let's try that again, but let's just hit the harmonics on the B and E strings, and I'll play all of those frets, the 12th, 7th, and 5th. See, those fit, and my point I want you to understand here is, again, not every harmonic is going to fit. You know, those notes aren't necessarily going to fit every key that you're playing in. So just play around with that as you're writing a song, or maybe you're learning another song. Play around with your progressions and different harmonics just to see and hear what fits, you know, what fits, and more importantly, what doesn't fit, so you don't play those. All right, so the second way that you can use natural harmonics into your playing is, well, we just talked about rhythms, is also in your leads, in your guitar solos. And actually, I love when guitar players use this technique in guitar solos. So I'm gonna do something a little different though. You'd probably expect me to crank up the gain here and just play some, you know, some metal shred type stuff and throw some harmonics, but I'm gonna keep the clean channel on because I want you to hear what this sounds like. This is really cool. So I'm gonna make up just some basic patterns and show you how you can flow into the harmonics here, okay? And I don't know what I'm gonna play, by the way, so don't ask for tabs, because after I play this, I won't remember them. I'm just making this stuff up as we go, but I will share some tips for you. Okay, here we go. Extremely simple. So I just want you to do something like what I just did. And then just go into that harmonic pattern. And I just stuck with the same one that we played for the rhythm that we started out with, the 12th fret, E, B, G. then the 7th fret on the G string. Real simple. Let's move up and play around on, let's say, same strings, D and G strings here for our little pattern there. And I'm oversimplifying this, guys, because I want you to just to grasp the concept. You know, once you go through this little session here, of course, you can shred, play a sweep arpeggio, whatever you want to play. But I just want to show you kind of how you can integrate those harmonics into that lead playing. And this just helps kind of spice things up a little bit. So let's play one more pattern here, and then we'll get to the third way, because that's going to be cool too. All right, so let's go. We're still on the D and G strings, all right, for the actual little riff that we're going to play. Just going to keep it simple. We're going to hang around on frets 7 and 9. Same thing. I'll do a little slide. We'll fancy it up just a little bit. Pretty easy. Again, I'm just sliding up to that 9th fret, then going over to the G string that was on the D string, then going to the G string 5th fret, and then 7th fret, and we do that little bend. Almost sounds country. And then we're going to go on the 7th frets for our harmonics, E, B, G. Then the 5th fret for the G string. Little whammy action. So that's just a very simple way, and I know that was super easy, but I wanted to make this as digestible as possible. And I don't really care that you learn the actual notes that I just played. That's really not important at all. The concept is what's important. And now, next time you play a guitar solo, you're going to think about this video and you're like, man, I want to throw some harmonics in there. These little things make such a difference in just spicing up the song and really kind of just reaching out to the listener a little better than just playing a standard note or chord. Now for the third and final way you can integrate natural harmonics into your playing, and then we'll get to your backing tracks because I know you're waiting for that. So this is really just creating a pattern, like a melodic pattern, just using the natural harmonics. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. And actually, you heard this in the very beginning of this video. So if you watch this video again, you go to the very beginning, the song with the full mix there, which again, you're going to play along with this soon. But that song, and again, I just made that up. That just happened this morning when I was filming this. But I had a little melodic pattern I was playing just with the harmonics. So I want to share that with you. See if I can remember what it is, though. Okay, so really simple but kind of cool little pattern there, and that's really like a solo on its own, or you could have that going kind of like as the background melody in a song. So there are so many ways that this can work, or this concept can work in a song, in music. And for this, I'll share this little lick with you here, a little natural harmonic lick, I guess that's what we call it. So what I'm doing, I'm starting out on the B string 7th fret, then G string 5th fret, then B string 5th fret. So it's just a 3-note pattern. That's it. I play that twice, and then I end on the G string 7th fret. That's it. Really, really simple there. So I'll play this one more time for you. Cool. Now again, I'm playing on clean channel here, so if you're playing with distortion, right, if you got your rock or your metal setting on, then you're going to really hear those harmonics ring out. So as you see, or hear rather, that really becomes a dominating sound, which is really, really cool. And also another thing that I did just now is I played a natural harmonic that I can't get sound out of on just a clean channel, and that was around that 4th fret there. That 4th fret, your G and B strings. So yeah, with distortion, your natural harmonics become more dominating, and again, you're going to be able to find more harmonics throughout the fretboard. So try different areas, different frets, and that sort of thing. But going back to the third way you can use natural harmonics in this little section here was really just to come up with some melodies, just using those natural harmonics. Play around on those harmonics and just make some patterns up, that could be a solo in itself. Now it's time for you to play your own harmonics along with this backing track. So just a few quick notes here. I'm playing in E minor, and actually we're only doing 2 chords here, so this will be a super hit song with only 2 chords. E minor and C. It's actually the song that you heard in the intro here. So it's going to be really easy to integrate most all of those harmonics that we went through in this video, okay? So I want you just to come up with some cool melodic patterns and just mess around with different harmonics while you play along with this backing track. The goal of this video was to help you integrate natural harmonics into your playing, into, again, what I call real-world scenarios. So I really hope this video helps you do that, and I hope it brings out even more creativity in your playing, integrating those natural harmonics into your rhythms, your leads, and even coming up with your own melodic patterns just using these natural harmonics. So leave me any thoughts or questions you have in the YouTube comments. Again, I hope this video helped you. Remember, I'm also still giving away my free practice guide. There's a link in the YouTube description, and there are more links on ways you can support me by buying my music, listening to my music on all the platforms. That helps me. I've got a link to my merch shop, and I've even got a PayPal donation link there too. You can buy Jason a beer free. So guys, I appreciate your support. Thank you for watching this video. Give it a thumbs up, and until next time, keep it metal. Well, we didn't really play much metal today, but hey, keep it metal.